Some people might say that, there is no occupancy certificate of a particular building, but still they have got, Kata, Bescom, this one, power giver, everything they have got it. How it has happened? But, authority has got a power to demolish the building also to the extent of the deviation.
Spoke about these approvals, and you also spoke about building plan approval earlier, or layout approval. Can you explain to us what are the various kinds of approvals that are required for constructing an apartment project?
Yes. Coming to the construction of the apartment, first and foremost, a building plan is required. That is structural plan, how a structure should be. That is explained in, Bangalore Municipal Building Bylaws. Okay, how a structure should be. A plan is issued by either BBMP or any other concerned authority. If you go to the jurisdiction of BBMP, it is a BBMP. If you go to the jurisdiction of BDA, then BDA will issue the plan. And if you go to Bayappa jurisdiction, then Bayappa will issue the plan. And if you go to Hoskote Planning Authority, Hoskote Planning Authority will issue the plan. Okay. So these authorities in some areas, see, now BBMP is an authority only to issue construction plan. But whereas Hoskote Planning Authority can issue both construction plan as well as layout plan. Okay. Every land should have layout plan being approved, or else if there is no layout approval plan, then that should have been regularized by due process of law. Only on such land, the concerned authority, jurisdictional authority, will issue a plan in accordance with building bylaws. Okay. In a building bylaws, there are various aspects, like, how much should be the FAR. FAR, like, floral area ratio. It depends upon, 1.75 to 2.25, 3, like that, there are various, degrees of, construction plan approvals are given. Based on that, that depends upon the road width. Okay, based on that, they will issue a plan. So that plan is issued for, for a low-rise building, high-rise. There are various plans. For a high-rise building, various NOCs are required. Without the NOCs, they will not issue the plan. For low-rise building, that is up to 4th floor, or, it is not considered as 4 floors. It is considered as, it should not be more than 15-meter height. In case there is a stilt, it should be 17.5 meters. So that should be the height of building. If that is less than that, then all these NOCs are not required. If it is above that, that's considered as high-rise building, then various NOCs are required. And, it all depends upon, how much setback you have to leave. Okay, how much FAR is given. All these various, aspects are involved in the plan. And based on that, concerned jurisdictional authority will issue the plan.
Sir, you mentioned about various NOCs for high-rise. Can you enlist them for us?
Yeah, see, there are 5-6 NOCs, like, BESCOM, BWSSB, then KSPCB. KSPCB means Karnataka State Pollution Control Board issues the NOC. And then for a larger projects, more than 20,000 square meter and all. So there is a state level environment impact authority also issue the NOC. And then airport authority will issue based upon the critical and non-critical, with regard to the height of the building. And then fire authority. Okay. So then BSNL is almost done away with now. Okay. BSNL NOC is also required. These are the authorities which will give NOC for the construction of the building. So these NOCs are very much required, and that will be incorporated to the plan also. In the plan also, they will mention who are the authorities, by what date and by what number they have issued the NOC.
So if a customer looks at any of these NOCs, so for example, let's take a fire NOC. If he looks at a fire NOC, what exactly does a home buyer need to look at in that NOC? Are there some specific points that one should always check? Or is it only that the developer has got that NOC and then there is no risk?
Actually, if basically a fire NOC is issued, okay, a customer need not look into any particular things. Those are all the specifications which are scientifically prescribed by them. Okay, it is very difficult, but it is only thing is that which authority has issued, whether it is genuine or not, and for how many years it is valid. Those things a customer is needed to see. See, it is valid for 5 years, and after every 5 years, it is required to be renewed. So, customer has to see whether it is properly renewed or not. See, commencement certificate, if after the issue of the plan, a builder will start his construction. Okay. So, once he starts his construction, he will come to a certain foundation level. Sometimes they will start their pillars also. Okay. At that stage, the authority will come and inspect the property and verify that the construction has really started, and then issue a commencement certificate to commence the building, to start the building. See, that is issued under section 300 of the Karnataka Municipalities Act. That certificate is a must for continuing the project. So every builder should have a commencement certificate issued by the plan issuing authority.
So once the plan sanction is done, the construction has started. What exactly does the authority want to check when they are again coming and issuing a commencement certificate? In plan sanction, they have already given permission to start work. So what other things are they now going to check in this?
This is a legal formality. It is very difficult to explain. Okay, and what is the rationale behind this? Okay, but this is a legal formality just to ensure that a person who has obtained a license, building license from the authority, is really going to start a project.
Okay.
Or he may be starting a project in accordance with the plan, to start also, to end also. The authority will look into it. Then accordingly issue commencement certificate, being satisfied with the fact that they have started the construction in accordance with the plan.
Okay. You also briefly spoke about at the end of the project.
That is occupancy I'm talking about, at the end of the project.
Now, can you just explain what are the various formalities a developer must complete at the end of the project before the developer can hand over the unit to the customer? Or what are the various, again, NOCs or approvals one developer needs to get from the various authorities?
See, from the commencement certificate, the builder will proceed with the construction of the apartment. So once after completion of the project, he will have to obtain an occupancy certificate from the same authority. That is, suppose if the plan is issued by BBMP, then BBMP has to issue an occupancy certificate. An occupancy certificate is issued only based on if the construction is in accordance with the plan issued by the authority, not otherwise. Okay. An amount of deviation is, can be done. That is only up to 5%. Okay, not beyond that. That too with some penalty they will issue.
Okay.
So occupancy certificate is issued based on the provisions of building bylaws, Karnataka Municipal Building Bylaws, Bangalore Municipal Building Bylaws. Okay, that is issued. So the authority will come and inspect the building, and if everything is okay, and if it's habitable, then considering upon that, they will issue occupancy certificate. So that every builder should obtain an occupancy certificate. Without occupancy certificate, a builder is not supposed to allow the occupants to occupy the flat.
Okay. Okay.
So suppose if any untoward thing happens in the building, suppose if there is an insurance, the insuring authority will not give compensation. And suppose they have to get BESCOM permission, BWSSB permission, okay, those permissions also they will not get it. And sometimes kata will also not be transferred.
Okay.
Okay. Even if it is transferred, then the authority has got a right to cancel it. Some people might say that there is no occupancy certificate of a particular building, but still they have got kata, BESCOM, this one power giver, everything they have got it. How it has happened? But authority has got a power to demolish the building also to the extent of the deviation.
Okay. So how can one check? You spoke about a lot of these documents: occupancy certificate, commencement, plan sanction. Is there any way for a home buyer to actually verify that these documents are authentic, or is there somewhere online one can go and check that these are the documents that the developer has?
BBMP has got a website. In that, plan sanction details are published, and issue of the occupancy certificate is also published. So these things are published.
So these are public documents?
It's a public document. Anybody can even with reference to the document number, etc., even under RTI, they can get that document from the concerned authorities.
Okay. But apart from RTI, even online on the website, if they just
websites also these informations are available. Anybody can browse it.
Okay. You know the website for, okay, there are various authorities.
BBMP.
Okay.
BBMP.
Sure.
Under that, there will be a some plan sections will be there.
Right.
So if you click that plan section, you will get it.
Okay. Two questions related to OC, sir. Can the apartment be registered before receiving the OC?
Actually, there is no such law that a property without OC cannot be registered. If you go to the sub-registrar office, they will not ask you whether this building has OC or not. They will register the property. Okay, but the thing is that repercussions are more if you don't have the OC.
Can you explain this a little bit? So let's say the construction is complete, the developer has applied for OC. It is maybe expected that the OC will come in some time. At that point, can a home buyer register his apartment?
There is no issue. Occupancy certificate is all about occupation of the building, not the registration. Registration has nothing to do with that. Earlier, registration used to happen before even starting the construction of the building. See, undivided portion and the structure used to be registered earlier. Now it is dispensed. Now the government has done away with it. So now only after the construction registration happens.
Right.
So there is no nexus between registration and the occupancy certificate. But the only thing is that building should have an occupancy certificate for various other reasons to make it a legal building.
Right. And all the other utilities like the BWSSB, BESCOM, all these are provided to the building only after the OC has been received? Or is it a parallel?
Practically, it is a different scenario. Practically, a BESCOM permission is given even at the time of the construction of the building. A temporary connection is given. Afterwards, there whatever the approved power will be granted to them subsequently. So that will happen side by. But it is not that only after the occupancy certificate you will get the BESCOM permission. Even before that also you can get it. But to legalize the connection, BESCOM connection, you have to have a OC.